Malcolm Coulthard is a highly prominent figure in applied linguistics, best known for his foundational work in discourse analysis and, more recently, as a pioneer in forensic linguistics. In the 1970s, his book An Introduction to Discourse Analysis, developed from earlier work with John Sinclair, became a widely used and paradigm-shifting text on the analysis of spoken and written interaction, particularly for its contribution to developing a systematic model, the IRF model, initiation, response, feedback, for describing discourse structure, especially in classroom settings. Since the late 1980s, he has focused heavily on forensic applications of linguistics, becoming the world's first professor of forensic linguistics, writing expert reports in numerous high-profile criminal and civil cases including authorship attribution, plagiarism detection, and the linguistic analysis of police interviews and statements, and founding the International Association of Forensic Linguists and the journal Forensic Linguistics. The linguist Richard Malcolm Coulthard was born on January 14, 1943. His early academic life was centered on linguistics, where he trained at University College London under the renowned linguist Michael Halliday. Following his studies at UCL, he pursued his doctoral research at the University of Birmingham under the supervision of John Sinclair. This collaboration and research formed the basis of his groundbreaking work in discourse analysis and the study of spoken interaction, which he then built upon throughout his subsequent career. He spent the next 37 years at the University of Birmingham before moving to Aston University in 2004. 1968, Aspects of the Verb in English MA Thesis, Birmingham. Dissected verb phrase syntax tense, aspect, modality via generative grammar, identified semantic constraints on progressive versus perfect forms, laid syntactic base for later temporal reference in discourse. 1970, A Linguistic Approach to the Analysis of Classroom Discourse. Applied systemic functional grammar to teacher-pupil talk, analyzed exchange structures IRF, initiation response feedback, showed WH-yes-no syntax controls pragmatic power dynamics. 1971, A Description of English Intonation M. Coulthard, D. Brazil, J. Sinclair. Co-developed discourse intonation model, map tone units, tonicity, tone choice fall rise to pragmatic functions, link semantic completion versus expectation in interaction. 1972, A Linguistic Description of Doctor-Patient Interviews M. Coulthard, M. Ashby. Used rank scale clause word in medical discourse, revealed asymmetric adjacency pairs via imperative syntax, tracked pronominal shifts I1 in narrative control. 1973, Talking with the Doctor M. Coulthard, M. Ashby. Focused pragmatic implicature in diagnostics, analyzed elliptical syntax feel sick triggering cooperation violations, showed grammatical mood encodes semantic underspecification. 1974, The Grammar of Conversation. Proposed conversational grammar beyond sentence level, defined move-act structure using speech-act syntax, linked pragmatic force to syntactic fragments. 1975, Towards an Analysis of Discourse, the English Used by Teachers and Pupils J. Sinclair, M. Coulthard. Introduced Birmingham Discourse Model, coded acts elicit, inform, direct via syntactic mood, map pragmatic hierarchy in classroom exchange structure. 1975, Talking with the Doctor, I. M. Coulthard, M. Ashby. Extended 1973, Analyzed information structure given new inpatient responses, showed pragmatic repair via syntactic expansion. 1976, The Structure of Monologue. Contrasted monologue versus dialogue cohesion, used lexical repetition, anaphora for semantic continuity, defined monologic acts without adjacency expectation. 1977, An Introduction to Discourse Analysis M. Coulthard, 1st ed. Synthesized rank scale plus exchange structure, link syntax to pragmatic function, introduced discourse grammar for natural data. 1978, The Analysis of Spoken Discourse. Applied act move coding to radiophone data, showed turn-taking syntax overlap, latching, linked pragmatic intent to intonation contours. 1979, Discourse Intonation and Language Teaching D. Brazil, M. Coulthard. Used tone choice for pragmatic meaning in EFL, map fall rise to implicature, link semantic projection to pedagogical syntax. 1980, The Place of Intonation in a Discourse Model D. Brazil, M. Coulthard, C. Johns. Integrated intonation into discourse grammar, defined proclaiming referring tones via semantic load, showed pragmatic predictability in tone sequences. 1981, An Introduction to Discourse Analysis M. Coulthard, 2nd ed. Added monologue analysis, refined act taxonomy with syntactic correlates, strengthened pragmatic sequencing rules. 1981, The Analysis of Monologue. Analyzed narrative cohesion via lexical chains, used anaphoric pronouns for semantic threading, contrasted monologic versus dialogic pragmatics. 1982, Exchanges in Teacher-Pupil Talk. Coded IRF cycles via syntactic mood, showed follow-up moves carry pragmatic evaluation, linked power to exchange dominance. 1983, Discourse Analysis and Language Teaching. Applied exchange structure to ESL, used elicitation syntax for pragmatic competence, linked act sequences to learning outcomes. 1984, The Analysis of Spoken Discourse M. Coulthard, M. Montgomery. Extended to broadcast discourse, analyzed turn allocation via syntactic cues, map pragmatic roles in institutional talk. 1985, An Introduction to Discourse Analysis M. Coulthard, New ed. Added critical discourse lens, link syntax to ideology, refined pragmatic power in exchange models. 1985, Discourse and Power. Introduced CDA to discourse grammar, analyzed nominalization for semantic obfuscation, showed pragmatic control via syntactic choice. 1986, The Analysis of Monologue, a case study. Case study, political speech, used parallelism, anaphora for rhetorical cohesion, linked pragmatic persuasion to syntactic rhythm. 1987, The Discourse of Power. Analyzed institutional asymmetry via question syntax, showed pragmatic dominance in interrogation acts, used modality for authority projection. 1988, The Analysis of Spoken Discourse in Legal Contexts. First forensic pivot, coded police questions via syntactic leading, revealed pragmatic coercion in yes-no traps. 1989, Forensic Discourse Analysis. Defined forensic discourse field, used exchange structure on confession syntax, linked pragmatic intent to legal validity. 1990, The Analysis of Police Interviews. Analyzed rephrasing in records, showed pronoun shifts i.e. for semantic distancing, exposed pragmatic manipulation in official versions. 1991, The Role of the Linguist in Legal Proceedings. Argued linguistic expertise in court, used syntactic ambiguity in contract disputes, linked pragmatic interpretation to evidential weight. 1992, Advances in Spoken Discourse Analysis M. Coulthard, ed. Anthology, Act Coding, Intonation, Exchange, Unified Syntactic Pragmatic Models, Applied to Institutional and Forensic Talk. 1992, Forensic Linguistics, The Determination of Authorship. Introduced stylometry, used function word frequency for idiolect profiling, link syntactic habits to semantic identity. 1993, the official version, discourse analysis of police records. Exposed police rephrasing via nominalization, showed semantic shift action state, used pragmatic reframing to challenge confession validity. 1994, on the use of corpora in the analysis of forensic texts. Pioneered corpus stylometry, used n-gram syntax, collocation for authorship, linked pragmatic consistency to idiolect stability. 1994, the linguist as expert witness. Case, authorship dispute, used modal verb frequency for semantic profiling, argued pragmatic intent via linguistic evidence. 1995, texts and practices, readings in critical discourse analysis cr Cal das Coulthard, M. Coulthard, eds. CDA anthology, linked transitivity, modality to power semantics, applied pragmatic critique to media legal texts. 1995, the official version, a discourse analysis of police records. Reprint with data, coded passivization for agent deletion, showed pragmatic evasion in official syntax. 1996, texts and practices cr Cal das Coulthard, M. Coulthard. Abridged version, focused ideology in syntactic choice, used pragmatic framing in institutional discourse. 1996, the linguist as expert in legal proceedings. Updated 1991, case, plagiarism via lexical density, link semantic overlap to pragmatic intent. 1997, the analysis of police interviews. Refined 1990, used turn initial but for pragmatic contrast, showed coerced syntax in false confessions. 1997, Forensic Linguistics, an Introduction, Overview, Idiolect, Stylometry, Discourse, link syntactic markers to semantic uniqueness, defined pragmatic deception detection. 1998, the determination of authorship. Case-based, used punctuation rhythm, conjunction frequency, linked pragmatic style to idiolect fingerprint. 1999, dialogue and intersubjectivity, reinterpreting the semantics of modality and hedging. Reanalyzed modality might, probably, showed semantic hedging equals pragmatic evasion, used in threat deception analysis. 2000, whose text is it the linguist as detective? Popular intro, used collocation, n-grams for authorship, linked pragmatic voice to semantic identity. 2000, the determination of authorship using statistical methods. Introduced chi-square, t-test on function words, defined idiolect via syntactic frequency, linked pragmatic consistency to statistical significance. 2001, author identification, idiolect and linguistic uniqueness. Core paper, used hapax legomena, syntactic complexity, argued idiolect equals semantic plus pragmatic DNA. 2002, advances in written text analysis M. Coulthard, ed. Anthology, stylometry, corpus, forensic, link syntactic markers to pragmatic intent, applied to threats, suicide notes. 2002, on analyzing and evaluating written text. Method paper, used clause complexity, lexical density, linked pragmatic evaluation to semantic load. 2003, author identification and linguistic uniqueness. Refined 2001, added punctuation, paragraph length, used in court admissible idiolect proof. 2004, author identification, idiolect, and linguistic uniqueness applied linguistics. Landmark, used multivariate analysis on syntax plus lexicon, defined idiolect stability under pragmatic stress. 2004, the linguist as expert witness in criminal cases. Case, bomb threat, used modal leakage for pragmatic intent, link semantic deviation to insider guilt. 2005, the application of forensic linguistics. Overview, plagiarism, trademark, defamation, used collocation, pragmatic implicature, link syntactic voice to legal meaning. 2006, forensic linguistics. Encyclopedic entry, defined discourse, stylometry, phonetics, linked pragmatic deception to multimodal evidence. 2007, An Introduction to Forensic Linguistics, Language in Evidence M. Coulthard, A. Johnson. Textbook, covered idiolect, discourse, pragmatics, used case syntax for evidential analysis. 2007, The Linguist as Expert in Legal Cases. Updated 2004, Case, Suicide Note via Modality Shift, linked pragmatic staging to authenticity. 2008, The Discourse of Police Interviews. Analyzed piece model versus reality, used question syntax for pragmatic pressure, exposed semantic distortion in records. 2009, The Analysis of Suicide Notes. Corpus, 500 notes, used pronoun drop, future tense absence, linked pragmatic finality to semantic closure. 2010, The Routledge Handbook of Forensic Linguistics M. Coulthard, A. Johnson, eds. 40 chapters, covered stylometry, pragmatics, phonetics, linked multilingual idiolect to global cases. 2010, Forensic Linguistics, An Overview. Summary, defined discourse, corpus, expertise, linked pragmatic intent to evidential syntax. 2011, The Analysis of Police Interviews. Refined 2008, used repair sequences for pragmatic coercion, link semantic drift to false confession. 2012, Forensic Linguistics and the Law. Legal impact, used Daubert criteria on stylometric syntax, linked pragmatic reliability to admissibility. 2013, Towards an Analysis of Discourse J. Sinclair, M. Coulthard, reprint. New intro, reaffirmed exchange structure, link syntactic mood to pragmatic act. 2013, Exchange structure M. Coulthard, D. Brazil, reprint. Updated, added digital transcription, linked pragmatic IRF to modern data. 2013, The Role of the Expert Witness. Ethics paper, used modality hedging in testimony, linked pragmatic certainty to legal weight. 2014, An Introduction to Discourse Analysis M. Coulthard, C. N. Candlin. New ed. Added CDA, corpus, link syntactic power to social pragmatics. 2014, Discourse and Social Life S. Sarungi, M. Coulthard. Festschrift, covered institutional syntax, pragmatic roles, link semantic framing to social identity. 2014, Studies in Discourse Analysis RLE Linguistics B, Grammar M. Coulthard, M. Montgomery. Reprint, Classic Act Coding, link syntactic mood to pragmatic function. 2014, Developing a Description of Spoken Discourse M. Coulthard, M. Montgomery, D. Brazil. Reprint, Intonation plus Grammar, linked tone to pragmatic projection. 2014, Forensic Linguistics, The International Perspective. Global Cases, used multilingual stylometry, linked pragmatic transfer to cross-border idiolect. 2015, The Analysis of Threat Letters. Corpus, 200 threats, used container metaphors, modality, linked pragmatic escalation to violence risk. 2016, An Introduction to Forensic Linguistics, Language in Evidence 2nd ed. Updated with AI, digital, added chat stylometry, linked pragmatic deception to online syntax. 2016, The Linguist as Expert, a 30-year perspective. Memoir, reflected on idiolect evolution, linked pragmatic testimony to case outcomes. 2017, Forensic Linguistics and the Law. Legal reform, used discourse markers in jury instructions, linked semantic clarity to pragmatic fairness. 2018, The Evolution of Forensic Linguistics. History, From Exchange to AI Stylometry, linked pragmatic intent to tech shift. 2019, The Analysis of Suicide Notes, a corpus approach. 1,000 plus notes, used n-grams, sentiment syntax, linked pragmatic closure to authenticity. 2020, Forensic Linguistics in the Digital Age. Chat, email, deepfakes, used emoji pragmatics, typing rhythm, linked semantic spoofing to AI detection. 2021, The Linguist as Expert Witness, Reflections. 50-plus cases, used modality drift in defense, linked pragmatic bias to expert neutrality. 2022, Forensic Linguistics and AI, GPT threats, used perplexity, verse-tiness, linked pragmatic masking to human AI idiolect. 2023, Technologization of Discourse and Fairclough, M. Coulthard, Forward. Forward, linked algorithmic syntax to power pragmatics, warned of semantic control in AI discourse. 2024, The Future of Forensic Linguistics. Vision, predicted multimodal stylometry, linked pragmatic truth to post-human evidence.